I'm going over the next part here, which is a meeting transcription agent. So this goes hand in hand with the note takers. You'll see that there is a plethora of note takers probably on this call now. So this is not to replace or that is not going to replace an AI note taker in a meeting. What this does is kind of amplify the results from having one. So your starting input for using this transcription agent is the transcription from a call. So you've had a call with a prospect or an internal team or something. You've had this meeting. It's a 30-minute, 60-minute meeting. And now you have this text transcript where it's everything anybody said in the meeting. And now you want to get some beneficial output from it, usually including like what are the things people said they were going to do? What are the follow-up items? What needs to happen after this meeting is what we're working on. I'm not going to read all this, but this is basically telling you what it does and what it doesn't do. We're not trying to replace people from having to do anything on this transcription. Basically, we're trying to summarize the meeting and give a to-do list for the people that need to do things. So in this one, we are giving you the instructions on how to do this in Claude. You already have the instructions previously for how to do this, how to create an agent in Copilot. So now we're just doing it for Claude. Claude is our agent of our AI model of choice that we use internally at Plus One Technology, but you can use different ones. This is the one that we used for this particular project. So you would create a Claude project, which is the same as a ChatGPT custom GPT. Then you would paste the project instructions, which we're going to give you. You're going to upload any context files. And what context files are is just information about you or the customer or how you want the output to look like. Like if you're trying to output to a proposal, give it a couple sample proposals. AI is great when you give it examples of what you're looking for. And then you're going to run the transcription. And then we're going to do the follow-up and iterate. Basically, what's nice about AI is that you should always be changing it. Like you're going to notice when you start to build things like, oh, hey, that output's great, but it would be also great if we had this in there. So you go back and change the instructions a little bit, and you get what you need. So here are the exact instructions that you will use to create this. You'll just change our company name with your company name. This is giving it, all the typical components of a good prompt. Gives the role always, we're telling it what we want. So we want a meeting overview. We want key decisions made, pain points and friction, opportunities identified, action items, and open questions, and recommended next steps. So it's going to give us basically all of those things out of the meeting transcription. So in this one, we kind of just filled this with basic sample data for made-up companies. We have a CPA firm, a dental firm, an HVAC company, and a law firm here. So you see, we also have 4 different analysis types. So we can do a full analysis, just do the action items, just do the follow-up and email, just do an internal recap. Again, you guys are going to get this. This demo is fully functional when you get it. So you'll be able to click through this and see what all these are like. But down here is our transcription preview. So this is kind of, this is the summary from the meeting. So yours is typically going to be much longer than this unless you have a 4-minute meeting. So this may be pages or an hour's worth of transcription. So you would put that, you'll put that into your prompt, and then when you run the analysis, you'll see, it's giving us our key pain points, our opportunities, and our quick wins. When you do our action items, it's giving us here are the action items. So this is typically who said what they were going to do during the call. So Tom said he was going to do this. Lisa said she was going to do that. Us as a company said we were going to do these things. Do the same, and this will give you the same information with the follow-up email. So you can change the instructions here to whatever you want the output to be. Like maybe you just want this agent to create the follow-up email. Maybe you wanted to create the action items. Maybe you wanted to just create an internal recap to tell the rest of the team what happened during that meeting. And here is overall what some of that sample output looks like. So this is kind of the full gamut of everything here. This gives you your meeting overview. These are the pain points that your client or prospect, whoever you're talking to, described on the meeting. These are the opportunities. So like, hey, they said that they were having a problem with this. We should focus on that. This is what the action item summary can look like. This is then a follow-up email to go back to the client to say, hey, we had this meeting. Here's everything we talked about. The good news is that we think we can fix all these things. Here's an internal recap. This would be, hey, we've had this meeting with this client. Now we want to tell the rest of our team what that meeting was about. Here it is. Open questions. These are going to be, hey, our agent went through this meeting and we forgot to ask them about this, or we think this is a hurdle that we're going to need to overcome. The other thing that you can build in is industry-specific language or customization. So you see we had a couple different industries here. What's great about this is there is a lot of, papers and stuff like that that are built on just creating industry context or industry knowledge out there. You can go grab these very long papers that sometimes are 50 pages of industry information and just upload them as a file as part of the workflow. Or you can just give it these prompts, like, hey, we're talking specifically to law firms here or medical practices. And what that helps do is change the language in all of those things that we just talked about, the sample, the meeting notes and all that type of stuff. It gives it an idea of what words to use and terminology to use, all those types of things. So your full workflow on this is to, you put in the transcription, you run the agent, you tell it what you want your output to be, and then you get the delivery, whether it's an email or a report or whatever you want from the meeting. So this is kind of just a breakdown of the amount of time that people are typically spending without this type of a system. Somebody's going to have to read that whole transcript from Fireflies or Copilot or whatever's transcripting it, then manually extract the to-do items or the action items, write a follow-up email. And then with using AI, you're going to cut this process down, probably about 90%. So many of you might be asking like, all right, so we had this meeting and let's say it's with a potential customer. What do we do? What do we do now, or what can we do with that information to make it even more powerful, or what does the next step look like? So one of the things that we're actively building, and this is completely, we're still working on this, is the beta product that we're working on, but essentially we then take that information and dump the transcript, the output from our meeting transcript agent into our custom built proposal software that we're designing right now. So now we have our IT partnership with Sarah. So we've taken the pain points and everything that we just pulled out of that system and dumped it into custom proposal software that then now pulls out the challenges that customer was facing, what their goals were, how we as a company solve those problems, what's included in the plan, what's included in the whatever we're offering, whatever you're offering. You would put put this section in here. You give them whatever the monetary investment's going to be on their part, why they should do it now, what happens next when they do it, a little bit about your company. This is questions that they should be asking when they're interviewing other people that do what you do. And then resources. This pulls relevant blog articles from our website that have to do with this particular proposal, how you compare to other people in your industry. This pulls geolocated information, so it pulls your local competitors and how many Google reviews they all have in comparison to you, a full-on interactive display of your Google profile and your Google reviews, and then, whatever you want your next steps to be. So this would be, hey, give me the quote, or I have a question, I want to talk to somebody, and then you trigger how you want these buttons to be. But essentially now you can create a custom proposal for your clients based off one meeting, and you can do all this in minutes instead of spending hours. So that's what we had today. I'd like to leave the last couple of minutes here for any questions anybody has. Peter, I see your question, and yes, there is a way to do what you're saying, where you can take to-do items from a meeting recap and integrate them into actual Microsoft To-Do. I know we've done it with Fireflies, and I'm sure there's a way that it can be done with Teams. Anybody else have any other questions? So again, we will send these HTMLs out, and you can go through these. If it's something you would like to do but you don't want to do it yourself, you can reach out to us. We can help you build something like this, or if there's some other need, or you want something like this a little more customized, it's definitely something that we've done for other companies. And we really just want to make sure that everybody is getting in there and doing some experimenting with AI. And if you're not comfortable doing it yourself, reaching out to us, and we can have a call and see what we can do to help you. So if nobody else has any other questions, I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day.